Hey guys, Corel Cooper with OnTheBlack.com here to give you a little Q&A segment. These are questions that you guys send in and I take a shot at answering. So here we go. And the first question comes from the Rook 1992 who asks, what do you think about this offseason? The Mets signed Jason Bay to play right field. Well, let's start here. Bay is in the last year of his contract with the Red Sox. I believe he's making about $7.5 million this year. You can expect the Red Sox to put all the resources they can behind this and try to re-sign Jason Bay. He's having an excellent season. He's a nice, good, solid young player. He fits into that organization pretty well. He hasn't given them any problems like Manny gave them in the past. And I don't see the Red Sox letting Jason Bay go without a fight. So while that's a good option for the Mets, and if they can get him, great. But I don't see that happening. I think that he's going to stay in Boston, and he'll be a Red Sox for many years to come. The next question comes from Jay Talano 0715, who asks, wondering how do you think Jerry Manuel will handle first base now that Delgado and Cora are out? And will Gary Sheffield continue to get more playing time, or does he need more rest? Well, I think we're seeing how Manuel's going to handle first base. I think for the most part, Daniel Murphy is going to get the assignment at first base as long as he plays good defense and hits. And he's been playing good defense so far. His hitting, he's still struggling a little bit, but I think they're going to give him time to see if he could come around. And you'll see Tatis more in a position to come off the bench. In terms of Sheffield, I don't think the Mets have any choice right now but to play Sheffield almost every day. I guess it's a good thing that they are playing the Red Sox this weekend and they're in an American League park where Sheffield could get a chance to DH. Now, last night, the original plan was for him to DH and for Beltran to play center field, but Beltran came up with a sore knee, so that's why you saw Beltran DHing and Sheffield out in the outfield. But I think over this weekend, if Beltran's healthy to play the outfield, the Mets will probably prefer to have Sheffield DH. And, in terms of long term and how this will work out over the next few weeks, if Sheffield's okay, he's got to play more. I mean, the Mets need his bat in the middle of the lineup, and that's just the bottom line right now. And, to all you Mets fans out there who didn't like the Gary Sheffield signing, just think about how this lineup would look right now if Sheffield wasn't there. So to have Sheffield on the team for $400,000, with the injuries that we have right now, it looks like that was a pretty good signing as long as he continues to hit the ball. The next question comes from Ryan Narain, and he asks, in light of the Manny news, do you think players from the steroid era should be considered for the Hall of Fame? My direct response to that is no. I don't think that anyone that has cheated in the game of baseball should receive baseball's highest honor, which is the Hall of Fame. On the flip side of that, though, I think the first person, if anyone gets in from the steroid era, I think it's going to be Alex Rodriguez by the time he retires. Rodriguez still has plenty of years to play. He has plenty enough opportunity to show everyone that he can hit and still be the same type of player he was without the use of steroids or without anyone is thinking that he's using steroids. So I think if someone does get in, it will be A-Rod by the time his career is all said and done. And then at that point, my opinion will probably change, because I think if you let one person in, you have to let everyone in that has those type of Hall of Fame numbers. So, right now I say no one should get in from the steroid era. But if someone does eventually get in, then I think you have to come back and reconsider everyone that played in this era. And the final question today comes from Tommy Two Chips, who asks, who do you think is the leader of the Mets? Now, this has been a hot topic amongst Mets fans and amongst the media about, the Mets leadership and who's actually the leader. I think there's different types of ways that you can lead. I think, on the field, sort of in a quiet way and doing things by example is Beltran. But, in terms of having like an emotional leader, someone who's going to speak out, someone who's going to fire the team up, I think the Mets lack that. If you look at their core guys, Wright, Reyes, and Beltran, that's not their personality to be that type of emotional leader. Now, maybe David Wright can grow into that one day, but I don't think he's there yet. So I think the Mets lack that from an emotional standpoint. The last emotional leader they probably had was someone like a Cliff Floyd, who, of course, is a fan favorite, played hurt, really wasn't afraid to speak out, and, would get in guys' faces if he needed to. Someone on this team, besides Wright eventually growing into that, is Sheffield. That's the type of player Sheffield is, where, he's not afraid to speak his mind. The problem there is Sheffield is a platoon player on this team, even though he's getting more playing time now due to injuries. And sometimes, leading by emotion or leading by speaking out, if you're a platoon player, it doesn't carry the same weight as an everyday player. So I do think that is something that the Mets lack. We'll see if David Wright can eventually grow into that role over the years, but it's not something that they have right now. And that's it for this week's Q&A, guys. Let me know your thoughts on the comments and, my responses to each question. Also, if you have a question that you would like to get in next week's Q&A segment, feel free to send me an email with that question, and I'll be sure to get it in. Let me know what you guys think. Talk to you soon.